Last time we talked about how night feeds are both normal and healthy for breastfed babies because it supports their growth, safe infant sleep, and mother's milk supply. But I promised you I would offer some tips to help you both get more sleep. Here's my first tip: maximize the number of daytime feeds. Most breastfed babies need at least 8 feeds per 24 hours until they're established on solid foods. So the more of those feeds you can get in the daytime, typically the less number of feeds are needed at night. If your baby is sleeping really long stretches in the daytime and it's causing them to miss or delay daytime feeds, they're gonna have to make up for it at night. So instead, encourage your baby to nurse often in the day, and hopefully it will buy you more sleep at night. One of the ways you can do this is by watching for those early feeding cues when baby starts to root, mouth, put their hands up to their mouth. These are all signs that baby is ready to eat. So go with the early end of those feeding cues instead of waiting for baby to get fussy. Keep in mind as well that babies that are in a deep sleep often will not notice that they're hungry and wake up or show feeding cues. Because of this, one of our favorite strategies to encourage sleepy young babies, especially newborns, to breastfeed often in the day is to skip swaddling in the daytime. When you look at this doll here, nice and tightly swaddled, it puts baby into a womb-like trance, which is part of why parents do it. It helps the baby relax and sleep well. But when babies are in this womb-like trance, they go back to the way that they were in the womb in some ways, where they didn't have to be awake to eat. In the womb, while baby was all curled up nice and tight and comfy, she was receiving food via the umbilical cord even while asleep. And sometimes we find that that is the case for babies outside the womb as well when they're swaddled. So if it's in the daytime and it's been 2 hours since baby last fed and they're sound asleep, cozied up on your chest, or they're swaddled, or they're in some sort of nest or swing, get them out of those, unwrap them, and lay them on a flat, hard surface like the sofa cushion next to you or the coffee table in front of you. And once they're laid on their back on a flat, hard surface, most likely they'll enter a light sleep stage. And when they're hungry in that light sleep stage, they're more likely to wake up and tell you they're hungry. And this is one of several reasons why we actually discourage daytime swaddling. We want your baby to nurse often and well in the daytime especially. Another way you can maximize daytime feeds is by offering to nurse your baby before and after their naps. This is especially effective as they get older. Breastfeeding is a two-way relationship. So breastfeed anytime baby asks, but it's also totally appropriate for mothers to offer. It can go both ways. And so if you're trying to get as many daytime feeds in as you can, consider a new routine of breastfeeding your baby before and after naps. My second suggestion is to dream feed baby before you go to bed for the night. If baby has an earlier bedtime, let's say baby goes to bed at 7 or 8 p.m., but you stay up until 10 o'clock or later, then it might be worth nursing your baby right before you go to sleep while they're still half asleep and drowsy themselves. That way you can have the longest sleep stretch after you go to bed versus it being just when baby goes to bed, you fall asleep and then baby's waking up right after that. This works well for several months usually, but there does come an age where it seems like it starts to backfire. So if you notice that you are initiating a dream feed before your bedtime and baby starts to wake up more often after that, they may have reached the age where it starts to backfire. But usually this works great for several months while baby's going to bed earlier than you. If you're both going to bed early together, which is common with a newborn, consider encouraging some evening cluster feeding before you go to bed. If baby nurses a couple times in a row, maybe hourly in the evening, this helps tank baby up for the night and hopefully will buy you a longer sleep stretch. My third tip is not to leave your bed at night unless you have to use the restroom. Our goal when we're helping you get comfortable with your baby at night is for you never to have to leave your bed. We love the bedside bassinets that can pull up right next to your bed level with your mattress. We want you to be able to have baby within arm's reach, both for safety reasons, as that's been shown to be the safest place for baby to sleep, but also so that you can watch their cues, you can get them up at night, and you can nurse right there in bed. So if baby's next to your bassinet, you should be able to just lean over, scoop them up, and nurse right there in bed. When you get baby up, if their diaper is wet or dirty, we actually recommend keeping it that way on the first breast and then changing it on the in between before you switch sides to the second breast. Sometimes that helps to perk baby up to nurse a little bit better and a little bit faster on the second side and get really full so that they sleep better afterwards. Try not to change the diaper at the end of the feed if you can help it, because that might just wake baby up even more and make it harder to settle them back into sleep. Keep diapers and wipes on your nightstand so you can change the diaper right there in front of you in bed and hopefully never leave your bed at night. Ask us to help you get comfortable with nursing in your bed and show you some positions you can use if that's not something you've been able to figure out on your own yet. My fourth tip is to try to go to bed early and get extra sleep when you're able to. If you're back to work already, then I know this is really challenging, but having that early bedtime can be a way to try to make up for the fact that you're up a couple times at night still. Work with your partner to see if you can arrange a routine where you sleep in on the weekends while your partner gets up with your baby. This is only fair, in my opinion. If you're the one that's getting up with baby at night on work nights, then your partner should be able to take the morning shift on the weekends while you sleep in. And if you're not back to work yet, then the age-old advice to sleep when babies sleep applies. Try to get one nap in each day and try to go to bed early. Finally, our fifth suggestion is to have a nap routine. Babies that are napping well in the daytime tend to sleep well at night. And by napping well, I don't mean the babies that take 3 or 4 hour naps. That will backfire. I mean babies that take at least an hour nap several times a day, depending on their age. If a baby is overtired and overstimulated in the day, they actually don't sleep as well that night. It's a bit counterintuitive, but appropriate good naps in the day actually feed good naps at night. And having a routine seems like it really helps older babies to fall into a good sleep pattern. It depends on their age, and we can offer customized advice and a consult for your baby's age. But if your baby's between 2 to 4 months of age, somewhere around 3 naps is probably a minimum amount they need, and ideally at least an hour each. You can aid this kind of routine coming to shape by starting the day at the same time, by offering to nurse your baby before and after those naps, and by gradually accustoming them to sleeping in the bassinet if they're 2 or 3 months of age or older. Feel free to reach out if you have any more questions. You can comment below, or you can schedule a consult. We work with moms in person in the Charlotte and Lake Norman area of North Carolina, or via video consults. We'd love to help.